Going into interior design was actually seamless to me. As an engineer, I kind of gravitated to the technical aspects of design, and I knew that it was much more than making things pretty. So that's how that's my influence. My influence was my engineering degree, and when I started to incorporate those thoughts with health, safety, and welfare at the time, and now it's more well-being. We have a lot of dialogue around well-being. That's how my choice for design was influenced. Each and every day I wake up, I'm a double minority. I'm a Black woman, and I show up ready for what I've been ingrained to be. And it's not necessarily to always present myself as a Black woman, but to present myself as a human being that works harder, working smarter, and that, I juggle many aspects of life, always my best foot forward. So my training as a designer and even as an engineer began in my early childhood when I was told that I had to be the best, that I needed to be proud of the things that I would do that would affect the world, and that, I had to be helpful in my corner of the world. It was my responsibility. So that's what I learned from my culture, my minority community. And so full circle, my corner of design is even in this industry, is met with my responsibility to know what design is, what it can do, what it is, what it's not, and ultimately how it impacts really the people and the environment. Design has afforded me a lot of flexibility, but also a lot of opportunity in leadership. So I've been past president of ASID. I've sat on the national board of ASID. I've been past president of Texas Association for Interior Designs and Advocacy Group, I've been a professor. I've done a lot of different things in design. Each and every time, most of the time I should say, I walk into a room and I'm the only or one of few minorities. And so I often have to walk into a room establishing credibility right off the bat because I feel sometimes I'm prejudged. But I've been told things like, "Oh, you speak so well." And I'm like, as opposed to what? So those are challenges. And while challenges are human experiences, you learn to deal with them. And so how have I overcome them? I just deal with them. I know how I have to show up. I know that I may spend a lot of time educating before I even sit down. I show up. And so that's, I think, half battle is to be present and be willing to have those hard conversations when you need to. And that's kind of how we overcome them. Equitable change to me is culminated in two words. That's empathy and dialogue. First, you have to know what empathy is, and you have to be empathetic to someone else's situation. And I'm not saying sympathy, you don't need to feel sorry for anybody, but you do need to be able to place yourself in somebody else's shoes. Once you do that, then you can open up to dialogue. Once we do that, then we can open up to dialogue. Dialogue is what's going to carry us through, because that'll allow us to start breaking down some of the stressors that we don't want to talk about, some of the stereotypes that we don't want to deal with, some of the history that we don't want to deal with sometimes. But we have to be empathetic in order to have dialogue. And once we have those two, I think that we can start making real equitable change. It's not always easy to be one of few, but you never can compare yourself to anything and anybody. That's something that I had to learn in this industry, because this industry has a lot of smoke and mirrors, right? It makes everything look glamorous and makes people look like they're just designing these fabulous spaces. Well, sometimes that's smoke and mirrors. And so you have to kind of bring your best representative of who you are first and foremost, and then everything else will follow from there. Embrace yourself, embrace every moment, bring who you are, everything about you to the table, and you'll be fine. The most gratifying thing to me is that I do know and believe that I am walking in my occupational purpose. I believe I was put on this earth to design. I believe I was put here to elevate people's lives. day in, day out. We're in people's homes, we're in people's business. It's not about the pretty, it's not about making it look good. We're designers, we're creative, we're going to do that. But how does that end user feel after they have utilized the space that I have created? Something that has come from this, this brain of mine, and the people that are around me, my supporters, my team, my assistant, my vendors, my manufacturers, how we all bring all of our thoughts and our processes and our products together to create a space. And then to have someone actually use that space and go, wow, that is the most gratifying thing to me about design.